Hi, folks. I hope that you guys are doing pretty well. So today is Monday, the 20th of January, 2025. And in today's video, I'm going to decipher for you Psalm 12. Okay. Now, Psalm 12 is actually predominantly for the second half of the tribulation period. As you shall see in a moment, as I go verse by verse. If you like, it's kind of like a continuation of Psalm 11, which is just deciphered. And I uploaded that video on my channel. Okay. Now, Psalm 12 only contains 8 verses, so it's fairly short, but it's actually a powerful psalm that packs in a lot of substance in terms of Bible prophecies. Okay. Now, I do have a problem here as always, and we're going to be going verse by verse. Okay. Now, before I begin, then I need to give you the breakdown of the verses. Okay. So, verses 1 and 2 are for the tribulation period, but specifically for the second half of the tribulation period. Okay. Verse 3 is for the Millennium Kingdom. Verse 4 is for the tribulation period, but also as well specifically for the second half of the tribulation period. Verse 5 is for the Millennium Kingdom, and then verses 6 to 8 are for the tribulation period, but specifically again for the second half of the tribulation period. Okay, so in essence, Psalm 12 is actually for the second half of the tribulation period predominantly, except for verses 3 and 5, which are for the millennial kingdom. Okay, so we're going to be going verse by verse. Okay, now on verse 1, it really establishes that this psalm is actually for the second half of the tribulation period in context. Okay, and why is this so? Good question. Now, verse 1 reads, "Help, Lord, for the godly man ceases." That's interesting. For the faithful man, for the faithful fall from among the children of men. So basically, what he's saying is that those followers of Jesus, in other words, the godly men, will no longer be around. Okay? For the faithful fall from among the children of men. So basically, in the second half of the tribulation period, specifically, don't forget then that the Antichrist is actually going to overcome the signs according to Revelation 13 verse 7. Okay, and so this is why the godly man ceases in the second half, because the Antichrist is going to overcome them or annihilate them, the signs according to Revelation 13 verse 7. And the Jewish people also you know also will suffer a great deal, because then don't forget that according to Revelation 12:14, the Jewish people are going to have to flee into the wilderness, and God is going to protect them supernaturally. And also, if you read the prophecies in Luke chapter 21, verses 20 to 24, how it says that the Jewish people will have to, those that are in the mountains, flee to Judea, and because the Antichrist is going to cause the abomination of desolation, okay, according to Daniel 9:27, okay, and many Jewish people will be taken as hostages, if you like, to many nations, and many will die by the sword, so to speak. So it's going to be very difficult times during the second half of the tribulation period. And so for my notes here, okay, I go verse 1, "Help, Lord, for the godly man ceases." The faithful men in God have disappeared. This is what it's basically saying, for the godly man ceases, okay? So the faithful men in God have disappeared. Now, when can this happen? It will happen in the second half of the tribulation period, but at the beginning, this will happen in the second half of the tribulation period when the signs are overcome in Revelation 13, verse 7, and the Jewish people will have to flee into the wilderness for God's protection according to Revelation 12, verse 14. Okay, so the saints will be overcome, and the Jewish people will face persecution, okay, by the Antichrist. Okay, that's why. And then, of course, we know that in Revelation 13 verse 16, the Antichrist is going to introduce the mark of the beast, and kind of like all of those that are, left behind, so to speak, are really going to be worshiping the devil, So the faithful man and the godly man will cease to exist, if you like. Okay. Now, verse 2, they speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor, of course, because once the saints are overcome, it's prophesying here on verse 1, and the Jewish people are persecuted and they have to flee into the wilderness so that God can supernaturally protect them. There's going to be a remnant, but many, of course, will also die, when the armies come to Jerusalem and they compass Jerusalem, and many Jewish people will be taken to many nations, but of course, after that happens, people will be basically be godless, like it says here on verse 1. And so people are going to speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor, with flattering lips, and with a double heart do they speak. Okay, so what I have here then on my program for verse 2 is that people are going to be worshiping the beast according to Revelation 13 verse 4. Okay, and those who take the mark of the beast will be of the same company. Okay, so that's why people, they're going to speak in vanity, everyone with his neighbor. Okay, because basically once the saints are out of the, are no longer around, and the Jewish people are being persecuted, and the mark of the beast is introduced, then those that remain will be worshiping the beast. Okay, and there will be people of the same company or like-minded people. Okay, except for the tribulation saints, which have been overcome, and the Jewish people, which will go into exile. Uh, they're going to be taken to many nations, and also there will be a remnant that God is going to protect in the wilderness supernaturally. Okay. Now then, verse 3: the Lord shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaketh proud things. Of course, when Jesus comes, this is a millennial kingdom verse here, this verse 3, okay? And it says, after the Lord shall cut off all flattering lips. This is going to happen when Jesus comes back for his second coming, and he performs all those judgments, against all the wicked people. Okay, he's going to cut them off, if you like, because they are being proud and they are being also ungodly, um, so for verse 3 here, the Lord shall cut off all flattering lips. Okay, this is going to happen when Jesus arrives for his second coming. He's going to judge them. Okay, think of Joel chapter 3 verse 2, the judgment in the valley of Jehoshaphat. Think of Zechariah chapter 14 verse 12. Here people are going to dissolve. Think of Revelation 14 verses 15 to 20, plus all the prophecies of Jesus' judgment in the book of Psalms. The book of Psalms contains many judgments that Jesus is going to be performing upon his arrival during his second coming. Okay, so now let's now look into verse 4. Okay, who has said with our tongue will we prevail? Our lips are our own. Who is Lord over us? Okay, so basically, these people here, which is who has said, with our tongue we will prevail, our lips are our own, who is Lord over us. They're actually mocking, they are mocking and scoffing at God, because this verse 4 here, it actually ties to the prophecies in 2nd Peter and also Jude, the mockers and the scoffers, because what they're saying with the tongue is that, that they are going to prevail. In other words, they are being ungodly, okay? And they are saying here, who is Lord over us? So basically, they are saying to themselves, we can do whatever we like because we have no Lord, so they are mocking and scoffing. So basically, for verse 4 then, okay, where it says, we will prevail, our lips are our own, okay, who is Lord over us? They're saying that, they don't have a God. Then this prophecy links to 2nd Peter chapter 3, verses 3 and 4. Now on verse 3 here, it talks about the mockers and the scoffers, okay? And in verse 4 here, where is the promise of his coming? They are mocking God. So this verse 4 here is linking here to, this prophecy here in 2nd Peter chapter 3, verses 3 and 4. Here on verse 3 talks about the mockers and the scoffers, and then on verse 4, where is the promise of his coming, And then also Jude, verse 18, there is going to be mockers in the last time, uh, who should walk after their own ungodly lusts. Okay, so look what verse 4 says: we will prevail, our lips are our own, meaning we can do whatever we like. Who is Lord over us? Meaning that, they're thinking that they don't have any God, they are mocking us and scoffing, um, where is the promise of his coming? They don't think that God is ever going to come back, just like Jude is saying. And also it links to Revelation 13, verse 4, where these mockers and scoffers, they're worshiping the dragon. And also Psalm 10, verse 4, the wicked will not seek after God. Okay, so actually I got Psalm 10:4 here. Okay, the wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. Okay, so that's why these people are going to be saying, "Who is Lord over us?" They're not going to be seeking after God. God is not in all his thoughts. Okay, and I just told you how this verse 4 here in Psalm 12:4 links with all these prophecies here of the mockers and the scoffers. Okay, in 2nd Peter, in Jude 18, Revelation 13:4, Psalm 10 verse 4, and others. Okay. Now let us look at verse 5. Okay. For the oppression of the poor. Of course, the Antichrist is going to be oppressing the poor. Okay. For the sighing, let me just bend the page here. For the sighing of the needy, now I will rise, said the Lord. Okay, so this verse 5 is actually a millennial kingdom prophecy, because the Antichrist is always going after the poor. You know why? Because the poor, because they don't have much, they always put the faith on Jesus, whereas the rich people, they think that they are their own gods because they have all the money in the world, So the Antichrist wants to take away the hope that the poor people have during the tribulation period, so that they don't think about Jesus, and so that they don't put their hopes in him. Okay, so it's going to be coming after the poor. Okay, but Jesus said, I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him. So basically, Jesus is going to come back to rescue the poor from the Antichrist and the henchmen of the Antichrist that are puffing at the poor, if you like. So on verse 5 then, okay, for the oppression of the poor and the needy now will rise. Okay, so I'm just paraphrasing here, but this verse 5 here is actually linked to Psalm 10 verses 8 and 9. The wicked are against the poor. Okay, in other words, the wicked, meaning the Antichrist plus his henchmen, are against the poor. Okay, because the poor are always seeking Jesus. Okay, Jesus will come back to perform all his judgments. Think of Joel chapter 3 verse 2, the judgment in the valley of Jehoshaphat, but there are so many. Okay, So this verse 5 is linked to Psalm 10, verses 8 and 9. Let me show you Psalm 10 here, verses 8 and 9, okay? He's seated in the lurking places of the villages, okay? This is the Antichrist henchman, already deciphered Psalm 10, okay? So he's seated in the lurking places of the villages, in the secret places. Does he murder the innocent, okay? His eyes are privately set against the poor, see? And on verse 9, he lieth in white secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in white to catch the poor, see? He does catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. So the Antichrist, okay, plus his henchmen, they're gonna be coming after the poor, okay, during the tribulation period, because like I said, the poor are always seeking Jesus because they don't have anything, you know. So this verse, 5, if you like, in Psalm 12 links to Psalm 10 verses 8 and 9, okay? But Jesus will come back to perform all his judgments, okay? Now, verse 6, okay? Now, verses 6 and 7 are tied together, okay? So they are working together because look what it says here. The words of the Lord are pure words, okay? In other words, that, generally speaking, what Jesus is saying here throughout the Bible, okay? His words are pure words, okay? And basically, this is a message for the Jewish people. A silver, tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. Now, what Jesus is trying to say here in this prophecy is that Jesus is promising that he's actually going to be purifying as silver the Jewish people, according to the prophecy in Zechariah 13 verse 9, okay? So what's happening on verse 6 and 7, okay? The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver is tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. So what's happening here is that God is promising in His Word or Bible that He will purify the Jewish people as silver is tried. Now, this links to Zechariah chapter 13, verse 9, okay? Because Jesus is gonna purify the Jewish people, only 1/3 will make it through. Why is this? Why is verse 6 linked and tied together to verse 7? It's because as the Jewish people are tried and purified as silver under Zechariah 13:9, okay? Because it follows on verse 7, because the Lord shall keep them and preserve them. In other words, that Jesus will purify the Jewish people as silver is tried under Zechariah 13 verse 9, but a remnant will be saved, though Lord shall keep them. In other words, that Jesus will keep the Jewish people. A remnant will make it through. In other words, 1/3 will make it through, according to Zechariah 13 verse 9, because God has a covenant with the Jewish people and preserve them. See? So do you see why verse 6 and verse 7 are actually tied together? Because God is promising in His Word in the Bible that He is going to be purifying the Jewish people as silver is tried, according to Zechariah 13 verse 9. And then on verse 7, He's doing this because the Lord is going to keep them and preserve them, okay? So, verses 6 and verse 7, okay, is about the Jewish people, okay? So verses 6 and 7 work together in conjunction with one another. It's only for the Jewish people, okay? So let me quickly show you Zechariah 13:9 so that you get the idea of this. Just wait Bear with me, folks. I don't have a page marker, but here we are on Zechariah now. Let me turn over the page, okay? So if you head over to Zechariah chapter 13, okay? So we are on chapter 13, okay? Verse 9, okay? And it reads here, and I will bring the third part through the fire and will refine them as silver. I want you to remember, refine them as silver is refined, and I will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God, okay? So just remember, Zechariah 13, that God is going to try them as silver is refined, okay? This is why here, um, on verse 6, okay, Jesus is promising in his word, in other words, in the Bible, okay, and his words appear that he will try the Jewish people as silver is tried, according to Zechariah 13:9. Okay, why is he gonna try them as silver? Because on verse 7, okay, this is why verses 6 and 7 are linked together, because on verse 7, after they have been tried, okay, and purified as silver, this is the Jewish people, okay, after they have been tried as silver, okay, purified if you like, then he's going to keep them, okay. This is for the Millennium Kingdom, if you like, okay. Um, of course, it's going to happen during the tribulation period, but the Jewish people that might get through into the Millennium Kingdom, they're going to be purified as silver, okay? And then God is going to keep them, okay? Thou shalt keep them, O Lord, thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever. So, in other words, those that might get through into the Millennium Kingdom, those Jewish people that are tried as silver is tried, okay, they will make it through into the Millennium Kingdom, and then God is going to keep them forever, okay. Now, verse 8, the wicked walk on every side, of course, during the tribulation period, okay, when the vilest men are exalted. Well, this is actually into quite a few prophecies, if you like, So, for my commentary here on verse 8, the wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. This is actually, if you ask yourself, when can this happen? This is going to happen when the mark of the beast is introduced, okay? Because then the wicked will only be worshipping the Antichrist according to Revelation chapter 13, verse 4, okay? And if you like, they're going to exalt themselves, if you like, So this is going to happen when the mark of the beast is introduced, and those that do worship the dragon, okay? According to Revelation 13, verse 4, like I told you. Revelation 13, 16, it was when people take the mark of the beast, and it's also linked to Psalm 10, verse 4. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God, okay? So it actually links to quite a few prophecies. Let me show you Psalm 10:4, okay, which I got it right here, okay. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God. God is not his thought. This is why on verse 8, okay, the wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. So this is going to happen during the second half of the tribulation period. They're not going to be thinking about God at all. They're going to take the mark of the beast according to Revelation 13, verse 16. They're going to worship the Antichrist according to Revelation 13, verse 4. And like I just told you here, just to recap and finish, according to Psalm 10, verse 4, the wicked, are not going to be seeking after God at all. So that is it, folks. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you all later.